Hey there, Delmarva. You made it to Friday.
Woo!
Congratulations.
We did it.
Yes, finally. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. We are your hosts of CoastLife. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo, and basically what we do here on CoastLife is we try to make a nice, relaxing, welcoming space. You kick off your shoes, and we'll introduce you to cool people, great food, good conversation.
What's better than that? Nothing.
And some of that good conversation that we got going on, this is something that I've seen popping up on social media a lot lately, and sort of how to navigate this conversational situation. It's sort of a question of etiquette, I guess, because it does get mixed reviews. And say, for example, somebody is sharing a story of what happened to them, of like, oh my gosh, I was lost on the road, and this and that and the other thing happened, and you can relate to that. You're like, oh my gosh, the same thing happened to me, and you jump into your story. And so the question of etiquette kind of crops up. Did you cut that person off? Are you trying to one-up them? Did you overshadow them? Or when they're telling that story, should you just kind of take a back seat and listen?
So I think we've all been there, whether you're the storyteller or you're the one listening, we've all done it. You know, someone's talking to you about something that happened, and like you said, you just want to relate. You feel like you can connect with that person. I mean, you and I do it all the time. That's our whole conversation. I say, Leah, guess what happened this morning? She says, oh my gosh, that happened to me last year. And I say, that reminded me, this happened to me one time. I don't think it's rude if you're just talking and having fun.
I think it's such an individualized experience. I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all situation. I think obviously the safe route is always just kind of like listen and kind of wait until they finish their story, and then maybe you can jump in and be like, oh, the same thing kind of happened to me one time, or just wait for another opportunity. But I'm definitely guilty of jumping in with oh, this happened to me too, and just kind of diving right in with that story, because again, I think it's relatable, and I think so much of that comes along with this job too, by nature, that you and I just jump in on conversations because we're like, well, we're trained to talk about anything.
We may be the talkative ones in the office.
Could be. The report card, Leah never stops talking.
I got that too.
Please.
See, I just did it. So I think it's harmless. I think if someone's coming to you with something really serious and maybe sad or scary, maybe then take more of just the listener approach.
I think it's also sort of a manner of like knowing your friends and knowing your audience. Like if there's somebody who gets very socially anxious, and I think that's sort of where I see this conversation stemming up from, if like it takes a lot of confidence to even kind of build up and share a story, the last thing you want to do is be cut off. And I also, like when I'm in a group with people and you hear somebody start a story and they're so excited and then they get cut off and you're like, oh no, finish your story. Like I do want to be that person that encourages people to finish their story, because you can see that like they were so excited to share, and it took like all the wind out of their sails when somebody jumps in and is like, oh wait, you're never going to believe this. So I think it's just a matter of kind of looking out for each other in conversation. And again, knowing your friend. If you know somebody is a little bit soft-spoken or shy or quiet, encourage them to kind of speak, and maybe that's who you just listen to.
Exactly. I think we can all do a better job of being a little bit better listeners.
But when it's us,
sorry.
Cut us right off.
Please.
But I think kind of speaking of being better listeners, maybe if there are better communication skills, better listening skills, that might prevent this next situation that we're kind of jumping in and talking about.
I love this one.
They're calling it partner probation on TikTok, and it is where partners are sort of punishing each other, I guess, by withdrawing intimacy. Taking intimacy off the table when you're frustrated with your partner, when you're mad at your partner. And I think sort of what we're gathering from social media is that this is sort of the last ditch effort when maybe you do feel like you're not being heard, you're not being listened to, you're not being supported. And so this is like a last ditch effort to keep your partner in the relationship.
We've all thought about doing it, where you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna, it could be anything. It could be anything you take off the table, I'm not gonna cook him dinner for a week. I'm gonna, maybe your significant other's dirty, so you're like, well, then I'm gonna stop cleaning. He's on probation. You could take anything off the table. We are all so guilty of doing that. I'm pretty sure I've done that before. Maybe my fiance was like, hey, this could have used a little more salt. And I'm like, I'll never cook for you again. Oh, I've totally done that.
See, I feel like then I get the opposite. I'm like, oh, not enough salt, you say. Here's the whole shaker next time.
Stay toxic. To an extent.
I do think it's interesting because it is, if you really want to break it down of like who holds the power in a relationship, like I personally feel like intimacy really should never be a bargaining chip, because I think I would be so hurt if it were the other way around. And I do think it's usually women that are the ones that kind of withhold the intimacy as sort of the last ditch effort, more so than guys, but it happens.
Oh, totally. At least on social media, I see it all the time. TikTok, it's like every day where someone's like, so I withheld from my husband, and
right, and all of a sudden the dishes were done. But like, I just feel like, why can't you? And I think a lot of people do. You try to communicate, and a lot of times it falls on deaf ears, and it's like you're an adult. You're a grown up. A grown-up should know how to clean the dishes. Like, that's not a man versus woman skill. That is a grown-up life skill.
Yes. All the men, sorry men, love you. All the men always on the comments are like, this will never work. And all the women are like, it worked for me. So do what's best for your relationship. I think this conversation's amazing. I think this is such a funny topic. And if you feel comfortable, because don't forget, you can message us privately. Let us know if you've done this and if it worked or not. Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Don't forget, we do Girl Talk too, so you can message us anonymously. Just email us, team@CoastLife, and we won't say who you are.
We won't, but we will dive into the drama, and we will discuss, and we will do our best to try and navigate that situation together.
Yes.
Because again, this is a space that we like to invite everybody to, and be part of the CoastLife family.
Right. It's all chill. It's all in good fun. So yes, please join us.
But speaking of Girl Talk, that is going to be coming up later on the show today. But we've also got more of a great show planned for you. Our friend Lauren Hitch from a new show that's going to be hitting the airwaves on our sister station on WBOC is going to be joining us to talk about the Delmarva Home Show.
And we are eating so good today. We're going to show you where to get some delicious martinis, some lobster rolls. I know, what's better than that?
And we love our friends at the Mayor Institute. They're going to be coming in the studio to talk later about some upcoming fundraisers. All that and more is on the way when CoastLife gets back.
CoastLife is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, and Shell Brothers.
All along the Delmarva Peninsula, you may notice there are some gorgeous homes out there. Would you like to get inside some of those houses? Yes. Well, here to show us more is Lauren Hitch. She is going to be a very familiar face to you on our sister station, WBOC, and you have a new show coming up.
Yes, we're so excited. It's called the Delmarva Home Show, and it started out as an online-only thing, right? So we were touring all these homes, working with local real estate agents, front door, back door, linear tours. They were all online, and now it's got its own legs, and it's going to be on TV, which is so exciting.
Yes. So
and scary, but yes. I'm learning all about the TV world. It's very different than the digital world.
Yes,
you're going to do fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
You're going to do great. And that's one thing when I first moved here was my mom and I used to love driving around random streets of the beach towns and looking at all the really cool homes. So, I mean, there's really a market for this, or people who just want to see some cool homes.
Right. Like, even I'm from this area, so there was a home in Bridgeville that I always rode past all the time, and I'm like, I wonder what that looks like inside. Or, when they finally make it to the market, you're like, oh, you're like sliding through the pictures.
Yeah.
But I mean, going there and actually touring it and then having a video tour of it, it's something very different that I don't think people around here do too much.
Yeah.
So it's been fun going in them. Some, I'm scared to touch anything. Like, we toured a $6 million home in Fenwick, and I was like, I was pretending I was my child, like, don't touch anything, okay. But there was like a theater in there, a huge octagon window, 3 floors, like over the ocean. Beautiful, but I was literally trying not to touch a thing.
Don't even breathe.
Right.
Keep your arms in,
Wow. Oh, I can't wait to see those.
I know. I was going to say, have there been a lot of decorating ideas now coming your way with this
gosh,
job?
Right? Yeah. So, and my husband and I just moved in our house recently, and when I'm at these homes, I'm like, okay, mental notes, are taking pictures. But it's fun because we've shown some farmhouses or Victorian style houses, historic homes that have been redone. But then we've also gone to the beach and shown the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million houses, and even condos and stuff right on the ocean. Those are not bad work days at all.
Right.
When you can look over the balcony and just see, the beauty of it all. And it's been a lot of fun. We've actually we've recorded a lot of these in advance, so you're gonna start seeing them on TV now. But we have shown some online, but it's just a whole different world. So there's gonna be 2 homes per episode that you're gonna see.
Good.
Very cool.
So the first episode is this weekend. Can you give us a little inside scoop what we're going to see the first episode?
Yes. So your first episode, we're just We're going right to Milton, right? Prime Hook Wildlife Refuge. This house is right on there. It's a modern beach house. There's not a TV in there. There's no mirrors. It's very like eclectic and artsy. It's fun. Lots of shiplap. They're playing well with like repurposed wood and stuff. It's beautiful. And like I said, lots of water. There's a rooftop bar. Rooftop area.
So you don't need a TV
That's
when
in
you got
Milton.
all that.
No, that's what I said. It had a floating day bed.
No.
I literally could have stayed there all day.
Right?
I mean, I kind of did for work, but that house is going to be awesome to check out. And then we did a condo right on the ocean in Ocean City because we thought that would be fun to show a really coastal like style home. And that was a gorgeous day that we got to go there. So beautiful beach views taken in that ocean sound. I loved it.
That is so cool.
When can viewers tune in?
Yes, viewers can tune in Sunday at 11:30 on the sister station, WBOC. It's going to be really great. And then you can see the extended home tours because some of these homes, we let them speak for themselves, right? So if you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, then you're there for a few hours and that tour ends up being 20 to 30 minutes. So you can actually see the extended version, the whole home tour online on Facebook or on YouTube.
That's amazing. And if someone has a home, maybe they want to show off, is that something they can do, get in touch with you?
Of course. So we work with local real estate agents just showing off whatever they want. But we've toured a couple bed and breakfasts that people have that are actually just really fun. We toured one up in Dover recently, and it was just really awesome. An older couple that owned it, and they like walked us through each room. It was just gorgeous. So that was fun. So if you think your home is really cool, or you're a local real estate agent and you want to get your home shown off on TV, you can email us at delmarvahomeshow@wboc.com.
I cannot wait.
If you need guest hosts anytime,
right? Come
two
anytime.
people who like to explore beautiful homes.
Yes, I could use some interior design ideas.
Right, and some of them, it's plenty of that. And there's a lot of some of these coastal vibes I've seen in these houses. We've had some nautical vibes and stuff like that. And then other ones, it's just really fun architecture even. Like that modern beach house, I think it was built back in 2005, but you would never know it. It looks like it was built yesterday. And a lot of homes are new that we've gone through. Some were so new that we had to push ovens and stuff back in or kick the sawdust off the floor. But that's fun. So we've shown, homes that are just being built or homes that have been redone.
Cool.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I'm excited. I hope everyone else enjoys watching.
We'll be watching.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
I told my dad, I was like, we have to have a watch party this weekend.
All of us can have a watch party.
Yeah. Bring the popcorn. Let's do it.
Yes, send us pictures from your watch party. So cool.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about Delmarva Home Show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool and one more unique way to explore Delmarva's coast and all of the Delmarva Peninsula. But we've got more exploring to do of Delmarva's coast when Coast.
You're watching CoastLife, where we are always introducing you to some delicious foods and drinks.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's why today we have Katie and Charles with us with Northeast Seafood. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So if you haven't been, you have to go to Northeast because it's delicious. Just take a look right here. Yes. First, just tell us a little bit about what you all are known for, what it's like inside your restaurant.
Okay. Well, our restaurant is a New England style based restaurant. We do a lot of New England style foods, lobster rolls, lobsters, pretty much anything you can get up north we do down here. A lot of maple syrup, just some good food you can't really get around here. So
That's right. And what sets you apart from other, maybe even Sodell restaurants? Because you are a Sodell restaurant. So what makes you a little bit different than if someone's been to the other Sodells?
Katie?
I think just, being one of the ones that has been here the longest, it just has that, really homey atmosphere. We have very nautical themed restaurant. I don't know, it's just, it can be similar to some places like Blue Coast Bethany or Blue Coast Rehoboth, but Northeast just has this different vibe about it. It's very laid back, great food, just a cool spot.
Yeah, you guys said you've been open for a while, the longest of the Sodell restaurants. What keeps customers coming back year after year and enjoying the space?
Besides our smiling faces.
Of course, the smiling faces.
Well, we have our famous fried chicken that we've had on the menu for a very long time. Our salmon with Boston baked beans. They always come back for these items, and we always leave them on the menu. We change the menu like 3 to 4 times a year. So we keep the staple menu items, and then we change up, whatever I decide to throw on the menu, I guess.
Sure.
The fried chicken is amazing. If you have not come, you have to get it.
Definitely, because the first
Put that on our list.
Yes. It's fried chicken and then this beautiful creation here. I want to talk about this too, because when you mentioned salmon and baked beans, I would have not put that together.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't have put pineapple and lobster together, but now I would. So tell us a little bit about what's in front of us today.
So we have the Moroccan lobster roll. Matt Haley was the founder of our company, and he always put the Moroccan lobster roll on the menu. We have a hot lobster roll, a cold lobster roll. This one's mayonnaise based. It's got celery seed, curry, and then caramelized pineapple on top with a buttered split top roll. So it's a good staple I'm gonna keep on for a little bit. Give the customers something different.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, so it might not be there forever.
It won't be here forever. It's not on the main menu, but it's something that we bring back every now and then that people like.
Gotta get in and get
Kind
some.
of brings them in.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We have to race there. Okay, and what are we pairing it with today?
Well, this is our pineapple teeny. So this is something that we offer at happy hour every day. It's just our house-infused pineapple vodka and just pineapple juice. It's so simple. It's very cost efficient and it's delicious. So
Yeah, it's elegant looking too. Like all these things go
Right.
very, very nicely
very
together
simple.
visually too.
Definitely. And would you put this hot sauce on this, or is that for maybe a side?
So I brought the hot sauce just to show that we make a maple-based hot sauce, so you can use it. We have them in the restaurant. You can use them. We sell them to customers. They buy them all the time.
That's
Just something different.
really good.
You said you change your menu up, a couple times a year as we gear up for summer. Or what's the menu looking like?
Well, there's probably gonna be a lot of corn, a lot of local produce. We do a lot of local stuff. So I'm starting to think about little things now. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'll put some stuff
Be
on
sure
the
to
menu.
check back in.
Yeah. I'm curious too, though, because I can't imagine how people come up with these amazing food concoctions. What goes into it with you when you are creating a new menu? What's your inspiration, if you will?
It's a little different for me because I'm not a seafood guy, which is kind of crazy. I know.
You have a lobster on your hat.
Yeah. We do a lot of fish too. A lot of fish in the house, different kinds of fish. We do what we call a fish board. So I brought local sweet corn in, grilled it, cut it off the cob, local cucumbers. I made peach butter from Bennett's Orchard. So, a nice, beautiful plate.
Yes.
It starts with your eyes. I believe it starts with the eyes. If it looks good, it's going to taste good. So that's kind of where I go with that, I guess.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just hearing about it. So yeah, definitely. And that's really cool that you use local ingredients, because Sodell has, they're a local company, but you really have grown into this massive, well-known company on Delmarva.
And I mean, one of my favorite things about coastal Delmarva is locals supporting locals, that we all help each other out, and it really does build this sense of community, so that people who, regularly visit Bennett Orchards, they get excited for things like that when they hear a familiar name, and it's such a special thing that Sodell does.
Yeah.
Yeah, next month we're doing our local produce month, so we'll do a lot of things with, we just got a bunch of the Bennett peaches in, and one of our bartenders, Will, he loves to come up with things, so he yesterday was kind of picking my brain because we have a lot of leftover bourbons and stuff, so we made a peach smash. So we made like a peach puree. That's going to be awesome. We got to try it last night.
I think
we'll
we're
put it out
doing
for this weekend.
I think we're doing some kind of summer crush too. I was hearing about it. Something that's going to go on the menu.
Right.
So different crushes maybe. I'm not sure.
So plan for multiple trips.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Great. Okay, well, I know we talked too about some other things you have coming up. I'm going to leave you with that, though, for now. We're going to hear more about it when we come back. All right, hope I didn't leave you too hungry, leave you with too much anticipation. Don't worry, we're back with Charles and Katie with Northeast Seafood. So you were telling us during the break about something you guys have to hear about. It's called a lobster bake. Please tell us when we can enjoy this and what's in this.
So our first one is July 23rd.
Yep.
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
By reservation, so we would like people to call. This is it's just a lobster bake. You come and you get this huge tray of mussels, clams, linguiça sausage, potatoes, ears of corn, and we're actually going to do a complimentary dish of hush puppies to go with it, and a nice 1 1/4 pound lobster on top of all of it. So.
Did you get all that?
You're right.
Oh my gosh. And your lobster, Maine, right? Known for lobsters. That's where you're getting it from, right?
Yeah, Maine. Yep, they come down from Maine.
Wow.
Nice and sweet meat.
So you're getting
authentic
Yep.
Northeast.
yes. None of that extra stuff. It's like getting a crab from Maryland, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Very cool. So whether you're going for the lobster bake or not, though, let's talk happy hour. 'Cause everyone loves happy hour. Tell us a little bit about yours.
We have happy hour every day from 4 till 6. There's 14 seats at the bar, plus 2 high tops that seat 2, so we can seat 18 in the bar area.
Nice.
And then our outside patio, we offer happy hour at all the tables. So that's always great and get people to sit outside. And we offer everything from, we already talked about our famous fried chicken. We offer a half of that portion for happy hour. I think it's like $13. Our draft beers are on for $5. We have house wines for $6. Any of our rail mixed drinks, so one gin and tonic, vodka tonic, something like that, it's $4. So
It's a good happy hour.
Yes, steamed clams, mussels, all of those things are on
Wings,
there.
we got all kinds of stuff.
Shrimp.
Out there, so.
So this sounds like the perfect summer atmosphere, honestly, right? Happy hour drinks and seafood.
Doesn't get better than that.
Pineapple martini. That
Yes.
yes.
That's so cute.
All right, so now that's been staring at me all day, can we try it out real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
get in
Okay,
there.
let's try it,
Please
Leah.
do.
All right,
Okay.
let's divide and conquer.
All right, okay, here we go. Lobster with caramelized pineapple on top?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay. Holy cow. I ate my hair.
It looks amazing.
So good. We have to Lady in the Tramp
Smells
this later.
amazing. I will.
You can eat the other half. Oh my
Sure.
gosh. Okay. Try. That's
gonna
gonna taste
wash
really
it
good with that,
down.
I bet.
This one, of course, matches my dress because I gotta accessorize.
Exactly.
You're right. That's simple, but really, really tasty,
Right.
and especially on like a hot summer day outside,
Oh, yeah.
that'll hit the spot.
It's beautiful with it too.
I know. Oh, best
So
meal.
good. Okay, I'm not kidding. These are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to do a little switcheroo.
We have to, polish these off.
Yeah. So we'll do that, but don't just take our word for it. Head over to Northeast because you're not going to regret this.
Again, they got that rockin' happy hour.
Yes, that's right. All right. Well, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you at happy hour soon.
Thank you.
Sounds
Of
good.
course. All right. Don't go anywhere just yet. I know it's almost happy hour. We have a little bit more CoastLife to get to. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching CoastLife, and earlier in the show, we told you there was going to be another Girl Talk coming up. If you've never joined us for a Girl Talk before, this is where we spill the tea both literally and figuratively. So the literal tea that we're going to be spilling today is a ginger lemongrass. We thought we'd change it up for the summer a little bit.
I've never had it. It sounds good.
And what is the figurative tea that we're going to be spilling today?
Okay, everybody, I have it right here. We are talking travel drama, travel etiquette, who was in the right, who was in the wrong. So, Leah, you want to spill that tea?
I'm going to spill that tea.
Get ready, everybody. All right, I'll let you know what's going on. So, a young man messaged us saying that he had a flight from Canada to the USA. His flight was canceled like 3 times already. So, by the time he was ready to get on his flight, he said, I'm paying for a window seat. I want my window seat, not dealing with anything else. So he gets to his seat, and there's a couple flying together, and they are sitting in the middle and his window seat that he paid extra for.
Okay.
So he says, hey, that's my seat. The couple said, well, we're a couple, so we're gonna sit here. You can go take one of our seats. I know. So her reasoning, the girl in the couple's reasoning was, oh, but I hurt my ankle. She had a brace on her ankle. I need help. I want to sit with my boyfriend or whoever she's in a relationship with. But the man said, no, I paid for this seat. I'm not wedging myself into someone else's seat because I paid for that. He says, not my fault. You didn't prepare. Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Should he have given up his seat, or should they have said, our bad, here's the seat you paid for?
I mean, on paper, I feel like he's right. No ifs, ands, or buts. On paper, he bought the seat. The seat belongs to him. He's got the receipt that has his name on that flight number. So, like, it's his. But I guess morally, I don't know.
I know, it's tough.
I guess if it were like a family with a little kid, maybe I'd be a little bit more like, oh, just let them have it, let them stay together. Like if the kid is 2 and he's never flown before, I'd be like, oh, okay, no big deal. And like maybe me personally, I wouldn't think think it's as big of a deal, but like I understand.
Yeah.
Flying is not fun anymore because the seats are that big and everybody's crammed on top of each other. Everybody leans way back and you're like, oh, I can't breathe. Like it's not fun. So I also feel like I can see you want to get what you paid for.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And one side of me is thinking, okay, you're only going from Canada to the U.S. I don't know how far down you're going, but maybe it's not a long flight. But again, like you said, on paper, he paid for it. Who knows how much he paid for it, but it doesn't really matter. Also for the couple, there's no harm in asking, hey, can we please sit together? But I mean, once he said no.
Right, if his answer's no, his answer's no.
Just talk bad on him when you get in the car on your way home, like,
Right.
you know? But I think with it being summer, with a lot of people traveling, especially flying this year, I think, I mean, I know it can be hard to prepare ahead of time. Sometimes people take last minute flights, but just try to prepare and, if someone paid for it.
And I mean, sometimes the flight will bump you too, because I remember I was on a flight recently where like it was a couple and their little like brand new baby. It was his first time flying. He was probably, well, I guess he wasn't brand new. He was like 2 maybe. And he had never flown before. And they were so overly apologetic. They were like, we're so sorry. We got moved. Like we were supposed to be up there with everybody else in our family. Like, we're so sorry. I'm like, it's fine.
Right.
Like, I get it. For little kids, they don't know what's going on. Their ears are popping. They're having the worst time on the plane than anybody else.
Right.
But I know sometimes that's out of your control too. Even if you do prepare, the flight can still they'll move you around.
That's right. And the one thing that gets me is that this girl had like a broken ankle or something. He said she had like a brace on her ankle. I can see why she would need her boyfriend. But again, I guess if he paid for it, sorry, you're out of luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good luck. Let us know if anything like this has ever happened to you. I've definitely had it happen to me before, and sometimes it's not a big deal. But it's going to happen to one of you probably with all the flights and summer travel.
Yes, absolutely. And when it does, make sure you write into us here on CoastLife.
Yeah.
Or spill the tea.
If your boyfriend does something sketch, or if your friend does something sketch, we want to hear about it. You can email us, team@coastlife.com. We'll keep it anonymous.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will. Now that we've spilled the tea, we still have some.
We all love the Delmarva coast, but you also have to love what's living inside it and on it. That is why today we have back with us Suzanne Thurman with the Mare Institute. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So last time we talked about the dolphin count, some ways we could help keep up with the dolphin population, but the Mare Institute is always doing things to help marine life. Can you tell us about some new fundraising opportunities that's happening?
Sure. So we are a nonprofit, so we're often having fundraisers to help fund our program. And we have 2 activities coming up that are a favorite because they are our dolphin cruises, and we take people out into the Harbor of Refuge and they get to actually see the dolphins in their natural habitat. We have delicious food to accompany all of that, and people can purchase their favorite libation if they wish to do that as well. So we have one coming up on July the 9th. That one will depart from the Cape May Lewis Ferry terminal at 7 p.m. And then we have a second one on August 13th that will depart from the same place at 6:30. And beautiful sunsets on the ride in.
I was going to say
it's
sunset.
the whole package.
Sounds like a nice little date night,
Yeah.
and you get to, help out.
Yes, very cool. So people obviously are going to be really intrigued by this, excited. A boat, a sunset, dolphins.
Doesn't get better.
We're already in, right?
Food.
Right. But it's such an important cause. Where does that money go?
So that goes into our operating fund. So we have many expenses. These animals are very costly to care for, and we have our overhead expenses, and everything that goes into the care of these animals is raised through these funds.
Perfect. And you guys do such a great job. Anytime you see an animal on the beach, maybe in distress, maybe just sunbathing, but
Sometimes.
you're who people call, which is
Yes.
great to make sure that they are safe and
Yes.
hopefully just sunbathing.
Yes, exactly. And you guys also have a huge focus on education, which I love.
Yes.
And talk to me a little bit about the education programs that you have available to the public.
Sure. So we offer programs. We offer school programs for students K through 12, and then we also offer outreach programs. We're often at a lot of the community events. We set up our exhibit and answer questions as people visit our table, and we do formal presentations for other groups, adult groups, for universities and things of that sort. And the programs touch on the ecology of marine mammals and sea turtles, conservation issues, ocean health.
All important
Cool,
stuff. Yeah.
And so you can take these classes, but you can also be a volunteer and help run these classes.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your volunteer program opportunities?
Sure. So our volunteers are the heart of our organization, and I always say we're a small organization, but we're so rich in our volunteers, and they love to help with all aspects of what we do. We allow them to help with all aspects of what we do. They're not just relegated to a couple of activities. So they might help us with field response with the animals. We do necropsies during the lab studies on those that have died. The veterinary care and transport of live animals is always really appealing. And then we have our education programs, fundraisers, all kinds of different things that I'm happy to say our volunteers keep coming back. And we have interns as well, so we get to train them in the work that we do and prepare them to hopefully go forth and get involved in the marine sciences.
Great.
This is great. Awesome. Lots of hands-on learning opportunities.
Yes, definitely. And I know we spoke last time too, but again, always a good reminder, if someone sees an animal on the beach or looking like it's in distress, what do they do?
They should call us immediately so we can assess it. They shouldn't touch or interact with the animal. Keep a distance. They can call us at 302-228-5029, and we are on call 24 hours a day, preferably for the live animals. We'll get the others the next morning, but yes, so that's and people are really great about calling. And if they're not sure who to call, if they don't happen to have their phone with them, it's very easy to find online. They can call their local, if it's a state park, call the office, call the local police station, and they will pass the call through to us.
Yep. That's awesome. Very cool. You guys do so much. Thanks for all you do to help the marine life.
Pleasure. Thank you.
It's very interesting. I saw a seal actually 2 years ago on the beach, and I was almost excited because he was okay. He was just sunbathing, but I'm like, it's called the Mare Institute. They're going to tell me what's going on, and it all ended happily. He went like an hour later back in.
Nice. He was doing what I like to do on the beach. Just lay there.
Yeah, he's like, leave me alone. Exactly.
It is exciting.
Yes. Well, thank you again so much for being here. Please come back anytime because I'm sure there's a lot we can teach people about marine life.
Sure. I would be happy to.
All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Of course. Well, we have a lot more fun and education on the way, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Delmarva, we know it's summertime, but we're talking school. That's because we have some good news for you. I know, don't get discouraged.
You want to go boo? No, just kidding.
Not yet. It's because we have someone really exciting to introduce you to. This is John Bogger, newest principal of Sussex Tech. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. This is very cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I've talked to a principal since I was in high school.
Right? Like, oh, no, are we in trouble?
Right, I know. I feel a little like I have to be on my best behavior.
There you go.
It's
you don't,
true.
You
Well,
don't want to
there's
get
one-
detention today.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I made the dean's list, and this was such a shock to me. My mom called. She's like, "You made the dean's list," and I was like, "Is that a good list or a bad list?" So that tells you who you're hanging out with.
There you go.
Exactly, that's right. So first, I'm just curious. This might be a crazy question, but maybe you get it all the time. I just want to know what it's like to be a principal and your favorite things about it.
It's actually really awesome to be a principal. You're around younger people all day, like you guys, and I get to celebrate their successes and then watch them grow. And then the best part is when you see them, 3 or 4 years later, 5 or 6 years later, or 10 or 12 years later, in my case, and they're being successful or have overcome an obstacle in their lives and things like that. So it's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think too, thinking back on my high school days and even middle school days, you always remember teachers and principals, like what they did for you, how they made you feel. You don't remember the little things they said. Like I remember one principal used to always dance up every year and do single ladies dance for us just to make us laugh, So really, you do make a lasting impression on students.
Well, that's our hope. When you're an educator, you hope to have that. And if you get an opportunity, I was fortunate enough to go back to one of the high schools I was in prior to their graduation, and one of the young ladies reminded me of something that I had told her when she was a freshman, and she used it as part of her graduation speech. So when something like that, those little moments along the way, that's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
You actually make an impact at some point.
They do listen sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't always know it. Yeah, they don't always know it at the time. So
That's right.
That works.
Do you see sort of any of the challenges that kids who were in high school and maybe even college during COVID Do you see any changes, I think, between maybe the generation just before them and those kids that were in COVID learning times?
Well, I think social media has changed the world forever. I think we need to work on how to teach people how to use it appropriately at time frames. And I think maturity-wise, sometimes our students in a lower high school level, so let's say 9th or 10th graders, and they're not quite mature enough to be able to deal with the social media aspects of life, whereas hopefully by the time they're in 11th or 12th grade that they're able to do that. So we probably need to adjust and alter some way what we teach them about that aspect of where the world is today in social media. So.
And as someone who's leading educators, I bet you have some really cool, inspiring maybe stories. Can you tell us something that maybe was inspiring or stayed with you?
We had a young man who the mother had actually talked to us probably in February or so. His father was terminally ill, and as the COVID crisis hit at that moment, she had asked if we could come to a special celebration before he passed away, even though he wasn't going to graduate until that following May. But they wanted some kind of celebration. So that day was really interesting. This is how communication and social media can actually work. She posted, this was later in the afternoon or in the evening, she posted on social media how to get a hold of me because the father was on his last 2 or 3 days of living. And somebody, my former boss who was now living in Florida, had saw the post on social media, contacted me, ended up turning around. I was driving about 45 minutes north of Baltimore, and I had to drive back to Annapolis, which is about a 2-hour swing of time frame to see the dad. I had to run back to the high school real quick, grab as many caps and gowns as I could. We got there. It was an awesome experience for them in the sense of, it was a very sad moment in their lives, but it was really, an incredible thing. And then I got invited to the viewing and everything later.
Wow.
So
And I think those moments too, like for kids in school-age kids, a lot of times maybe that can be the only moment where they feel heard and cared about and special. And so for you to show that to your students that, they are important and they are heard and they are special, and to go the extra couple of miles to get to the hospital.
Well, the hard thing sometimes as a principal is you don't always get to know the kids as well as you want to. So you have to make an effort to really do that. And you have to be out in the hallways more often. You have to stay later to do the other work, the paperwork and that kind of stuff, so that you're out there and you can make those great relationships, because that's what it's really all about. And watching kids grow and develop and supporting the staff to be able to get them to motivate our students.
So I'm curious for Sussex Tech, what are you most looking forward to after summer? What are your goals, aspirations, dreams for this year?
The most important thing is to get to know the staff and the students as quickly as possible. I've been studying the yearbook to try to make sure I know people's names, which is important. People, when you have to be able to call people by their first name or by their given name, and something that's important for them. Really, for me, it's a challenge. It's a slightly different. It's a smaller district than I'm used to, so it'll be interesting to see how that system operates. We're getting ready to start a new building in about a year or so, and maybe a little bit before that time frame, but it's going to be an incredible place after about 3 or 4 years of construction. So,
We have a lot of names to remember, so good luck this year. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope a lot of your future students are seeing this and they're excited, because you're very lucky for who you have leading you at Sussex Tech this coming year. All right, well, thank you again. And for you, though, don't go anywhere. We still have a lot to catch up on, so CoastLife. We'll be right back. All right, CoastLife, before we let you go, we want to spill a little more tea, get a little more controversial.
We've been feeling spicy today.
Yeah. We want to hear your opinion and we want to share ours.
Yes. So this was one more thing that people have been kind of talking about online, I guess. Maybe. We'll see if it's true. Because apparently millennials, us, our generation, we're the generation of the biggest liars on the internet.
Yeah. We won something.
Right? We finally did it. And I don't know if it's just because what we're lying about. I have to assume some of it, because I think from what I was reading, it was really just percentages. So it's got to be online dating. I feel like that's got to be a big area where millennials are
How many of you are really 6 feet tall? Yeah.
Making some things up, you know, putting pictures of people who maybe aren't maybe it's not your dog in the photo.
The more we talked about it, at first I'm like, I am not a liar. But now I kind of get it. I think Gen Z is so brutally honest. They put everything out there. They are not afraid to share their faults.
Yeah, they overshare just a little.
Yeah, and especially in work. I mean, Gen Z all the time on social media is like, told my boss today I'm too tired to come in. They fired me, like whatever, you know. And ooh, I couldn't fathom. Yes, I swear we could be sick, and we're like, I feel great, you know.
I'm alive, but your body's on the floor.
So I kind of believe it. I hope it's not. We're harmful lying.
Yeah, I think it comes from a place of people-pleasing lying. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
Yes, yeah. I think our generation too on like Facebook is like, I'm having the best blessed day, live, laugh, love, and then really we are just crying and can't afford anything.
Yes, yeah, that's true. See, now we're being honest. It's not what anybody wants.
Can't call us liars.
But we've had so much fun with you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yes. But it is about that time for us to get on out of here.